Welcome to Let's Get Motivated with Lamont Brown. And I have the distinct honor and privilege to help introduce the world to a fantastic individual who has already, in a short period of time, just in a couple of months, have been able to impact millions of people. And you're going to actually see why she's been able to do that. And I want to help introduce the world to Miss Yorli Huff. How you doing today?
Good. How are you? Thanks, Lamont, for having me.
All right, I'm fantastic, and thank you for coming.
Sure.
Well, we're just going to get right to the point. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up on the west side of Chicago in K-Town, the middle child. I have an older brother and a younger sister.
Okay.
Raised by my grandparents. My grandfather was a preacher. And grew up in the ghetto, hard knocks.
Hard knocks?
Yeah, hard knocks.
Okay. Looking at you, don't look like you grew up hard knocks. But, reading, some inserts in your book, yeah, you was definitely hard knocks.
Right.
So, speaking of your book, can you tell us, I know the name of it is The Veil of Victory, which is a memoir of tragedy and triumph.
Yes.
Okay. Tell us, what's the overall message in your book?
Well, the overall message of The Veil of Victory is a story of a young black woman who grows up on the west side of Chicago experiencing child molestation, spousal abuse, low self-esteem, then becoming an undercover drug agent, finding herself in this.
Hold on. You was an undercover drug agent?
Yes.
Wow. Continue. It's just, it gets me every time I read that.
Okay.
Or hear that.
The young lady becomes an undercover drug agent and is introduced and exposed to severe and extreme racial discrimination and sexual harassment that heightened to death threats. And in the course of filing charges internally through internal affairs, she receives a death threat and has to go to the FBI to get charges approved by EEOC, which is a separate federal agency who would not take the charges prior.
Wow.
Then later being kicked out from the agency, and in 1997 that occurred. And then in 2005, experiencing the ordeal of a 22-day trial where the house was set on fire.
Yes.
And they were found not guilty even though they confessed to everything. And then having to get another set of attorneys to file an appeal and go through the process of appeal and ultimately having the victory and settling the case in 2008.
Wow. You went from being molested in the ghetto in K-Town to an 11-year battle of this huge lawsuit. That was a lot.
Yes.
How did you make it through? How can someone make it through that? How did you make it through that?
God.
Wow.
My spiritual connection with God, which in researching for the book I found was much deeper than I could ever imagine.
Wow. Now, speaking of the abuse that you experienced, what message could you give others who have experienced that same thing?
The message that I give through this project, The Veil of Victory, is one of empowerment, enlightenment, and encouragement. Just to say that we never know what life will bring us, what journey life will take us down, but we can, and we definitely can overcome and succeed.
Wow.
And be victorious.
That's right. I heard someone tell me that, when a person is traveling down this journey, of success, that accomplishing a goal is not the highest pinnacle of excellence, but it's who you become on the journey.
Absolutely.
And you definitely have, become someone great. But I was reading, I think it was on page 84, where you talked about the MEG unit and you talked about how they were targeting black people and black neighborhoods, and how difficult it was by you being the only African American and woman, a part of this unit.
Right.
Could you elaborate on what you were speaking of in that
Well,
part of
that
the book?
section of the book addresses the Metropolitan Enforcement Group of Cook County, which was a MAG unit that was created to combat drugs in Cook County, unincorporated Cook County, Chicago area, and the suburbs. Mm-hmm. My unit was created out of funding from President Clinton. Mm-hmm. His project was the war on drugs. Mm-hmm. I was on a team of 5 male whites, and I was the only black female. The towns that we were covering were the poorest South suburban areas, which had high levels of corruption and increased level of drug infestation. And so oftentimes I would be able to go in and do deals all over the state of Illinois where others, my partners, wouldn't be able to.
Wow. How was that?
The experience was wonderful. I loved my job. Mm-hmm. I loved my job, and I felt that I had a sense of responsibility and commitment to be a part of the solution and not part of the problem.
Wow. So, I mean, if the average person was to pick up this book, what would they learn after reading this book?
They would learn that no matter how devastating of a journey life that you have experienced, that you can be victorious and you can overcome. You just have to persevere, you have to be determined, and you have to be focused. Okay.
Wow. I'm excited to be, part of, the team that you have encountered on this journey, the people who's come alongside to help you get this message out. It's definitely my honor and privilege to be a part of this journey with you. But what characteristics do people need to overcome the pain, that you experienced?
A major characteristic that I feel one would need is just hope. Mm-hmm. Hope and faith and a belief that you can overcome that, and you can. Mm-hmm. You can. You really can.
Wow.
You gotta want it. You just have to hope that you can make a difference, hope that you can affect change, hope that you can be different, hope that you can not be status quo, but you can be the leader.
Is that something that, there's young women out there that's been molested and going through different kinds of abuse, and they're crying in their secret place, that quiet place, and they feel like they're all alone, and there's no one that can really understand what they're going through. And hope is the message for them.
Absolutely, because if God can do it for me, definitely, most certainly, He can do it for you, for anybody who desires.
Mm-hmm. So, how can this book be a good guide or a map, for others? They pick it up. I mean, how could they actually use it to help guide them through and navigate through whatever challenges they may be experiencing in life right now?
The Veil of Victory can be used as a roadmap just to say that keep getting up every day. Mm-hmm. Keep desiring change. Keep hope in your heart.
Wow.
And keep determination on your mind.
Wow.
And time and story after story and example in the Veil of Victory, you will see that.
Okay.
You will experience that. You will actually travel down that road with me at that particular moment in my life, and you can see who I am today is certainly something totally different than what you read in the pages of the Veil of Victory.
So each page they read, they'll get stronger and stronger.
Absolutely.
And their hope will just continue to increase, and their belief will get
Yes.
get stronger. Even if they don't believe in themselves,
Yes.
they can believe in the experiences you had and begin to believe in themselves.
Absolutely. I stand as a living witness and testimony. You can read the stories in the Bible and say, oh, that's way back then, whatever. Cut me, I'll bleed. I'm here. I'm living. I lived it. It's true. It's a never been told true story. And I'm here in the flesh to say, yes, I survived through it. And if I can survive through it, definitely, most certainly, you can too.
Okay, fantastic. And now I know you've already began writing, your second book.
Absolutely.
And I know there's some things, coming into fruition real soon.
Yes.
Can you tell us, what does moving forward for Yorli Huff means?
Well, this project is, the Veil of Victory is not only a project, it is a movement. It is a movement of enlightenment, encouragement, and empowerment. One of the avenues in this project is my second book, which I finished. It's called The Veil of Victory, and it serves as a 10-week guide to talk about 10 characteristics and verses from the Bible to match those characteristics. And then I take opportunities, some people call them trials and tribulation, I call them opportunities, from the Veil of Victory and the affirmations and visualizations that I was doing during those opportunities. And it gives you a 10-week journey. And it's also a workspace created for the participant to create their own visualizations and affirmations. So when they complete this 10-week journey, they will have a book to put in their arsenal to hold them and keep them and affirm them through this journey, their journey.
Yes, okay. Real quickly, tell us about how you can become my superhero.
Well, the material in the Veil of Victory is a little heavy, and so I wanted to make sure that I embrace our young people. So from my character, I've created Superhero Huff and Special Agent Phaedra, who is me, and she is a undercover agent, Christy Love type, no nonsense, taking no mess. And
I see you holding that big gun there.
She moves back to the hood to restore safety and hope to children and increase literacy. And so she moves back to the family building on the west side, and it's a 3-flat from the outside, but inside she's got it all gutted out with a fireman pole. She lives on the 3rd floor, and she has a basement with her toys, with her path. She has a tunnel all the way to City Hall, and she's on call. She's a tech-savvy, electronic geek.
Yes, okay.
Superhero.
Okay, well listen, I'm looking forward to it, and I know that you have some T-shirts here that represents our superhero, and where can they even get a hold of some of this, some of the products, and how can they purchase your book?
Sure, they can purchase a book on www.theveil.victory.com, one word.
Okay.
And call your local bookstore and ask for it.
Yes. Well, it's been my pleasure, to actually, spend this time with you and be a part of this journey.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And I definitely want you to visit their website, theveilofvictory.com, and invest in yourself. And I know your life will truly be changed. And I just want to leave these short words with you. And these words from Harriet Tubman, who said that after she received all the accolades for freeing over 300 slaves, she said, "I could have freed thousands more if only they knew they were slaves." Know who you are.